what is all about. Okay, so with this, probably I'll check if any one of you can check if I if we need to stop it here. Give me 1 second.
Yeah. Hi, Amit. Am I audible?
Yeah, Gitika, you audible?
Yeah. Amit. So actually, we also logged in due to as this is we have given the time of placement intervention with the team. So by when we can start, or either if you are you want to continue, we can wait for some time.
No, no, I'm done. So I was just as in completing, this the last regulation which I was discussing with the team, as in with the
Yeah.
people.
So yes, please you please complete your process, and then we can take it over then.
Yeah, yeah, you can take over. That's fine. That's not a problem.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
yeah, welcome. Shall I drop or
Even
do
I
you
have
want me to be?
something about FEDCA.
Yeah, do you want
No,
me to
no,
drop?
we just have to interact with the, no, we just want to interact with the batch.
Okay.
Just wanted to give a detail about placement. This is a placement mention. Then you can please take it ahead from there.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, even I'm thankful to you. I have also learned about FEDCA.
That's nice.
Thank you. Rajat, are you there? Just a minute. I'll just check with my teammate and come back to you.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, in the meantime, guys, any question on the items that we have covered? So Basel and Dodd-Frank, then MiFID and FEDCA. So these are the 4 regulations so far we have done, right? So anything which is bothering you, which you want to probably discuss at the moment, as I said, this regulation chapter usually requires, couple of reading, then only people become comfortable, because this is completely new and it is more of a content we have in regulation, because regulation basically means all that information, right? So information you can only gain when you learn or read about them, not learn, I would say, whether read about it. So when you read couple of times, it will automatically sit in your mind and you would be able to talk about those regulation when it is required in the interviews or on in all those times. So that is how it is. So, but still, if you have something, you can probably ask.
Yeah, good afternoon, Amit sir. Can we continue now?
Yeah, Ritika, you can continue. Yeah,
Okay, thank you so much.
thank you.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
To you all.
Fine, ma'am. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for confirming. Yeah, you can please mute yourself. So this is, I think, our second or third intervention with you all, right?
Yes,
Aware of,
ma'am.
I am Gitika Gupta. Along with me, Rajat Arora sir is also there. Contact for the placement process. Once you complete, as we stated earlier too, once you complete your course with all the prerequisite, all the required details, that is your assessments, all your mocks, your final mock, all these things, once you will complete your process, you will roll back to our pool to get further placement opportunities. And once you clear your final mock, yeah, let me clear you again on this part. There will be two types of things will be there. Your grade book will be based on your complete course, what you have learned, all your on your attendance, on your assessments, on your level 1, level 2, level 3 mocks, and all other prerequisites. Plus placement, more you will get the placement uh, opportunities based on whatever you are going to secure the tier 1 in your final mock. Okay, your certification will be based on your grade book and your placement will be based on your final mock. So final mock will be completely of your complete course of your level 1, level 2, level 3, right? So you can call it as a final placement mock or yes, right? Am I clear on this point, or is there any confusion in related to this?
No, ma'am, it is clear.
Okay. Thank you for confirming. Anybody else? Any confusion on this part? Okay. Thank you for confirming. So let's just move on further that what you should focus upon apart from your what you are currently learning in your domain part, right? So please be, I'm very vocal on this part. You should be very, very clear on your domain knowledge. You need to work very hard on your domain knowledge, on your communication skills, on your body language. That is overall development, right? Why I am focusing on your basic domain knowledge? Because whatever you are going to whenever you are going to attend any interview will be as definitely it will be basic completely on your basic knowledge what you have learned during your complete course of CIBOP program, as you will get the opportunities related to the investment bank or related to the financial analyst or any such openings, risk and analysis or on AML KYC. That is why I am focusing again that your domain should be very, very strong. Please reach out to your trainer for any sort of help or any of the confusion if you are carrying in your mind. Please do not leave the that moment that we can check it later or we can understand it later. It will definitely going to impact you. And as you all very well aware that your trainers are very supportive and they are going to help you out immediately on your and will give you the solution for your confusion. So do not cook anything in your mind. Please speak out, work out very hard on your domain part. Number two, I'll speak about communication skills. All the tier 1 or tier 2 firms, if I talk about Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, Street Bank, all these banks, Citibank, whatever, all these tier 1 companies, they look forward initially for the communication check. Communication in terms of the verbal communication or the writing part as well, right? You should sound so confident. And as these banks works globally, their major clients are from US or Europe. That's why this English communication is a must for all the candidates. So whosoever is focusing their career into the investment bank in tier 1 companies, so your focus should be completely on your domain part and your communication part. Because initial screening round, first when we are going to provide the applications to the interviewer, the HR team will get back to you with a call, or once they are going to check the resume, these are the shortlisting. So your resume should be very crisp and clear, right? Are you done with your resume class? Resume writing session, are you
Yes,
done with?
ma'am.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am. We are done with that.
You're done with that. So yes, your resume should be approved by your trainer. They must have guided you very well on what should be included, what should be excluded. So please focus on that as well. Please check on all the grammar part, the spelling checks, everything should be there. right? Because the first step is your shortlisting of resume. Number 2 step is your communication check. Once during the screening round, once they are going to shortlist any resume, the HR give a call. Few of the companies give a call to the candidates. During that screening round, if you sound confident, if your communication is strong, they are going to take you further ahead, right? That is why we always focus that you should be very, very clear in your domain part, in your communication part. You should sound confident. Don't get nervous. Anyhow, the interview is also a human being, right? So be confident, and then yes, no one can stop you then after, right?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I would also like to clear some points in front of the students. First thing is, whenever we share any job opportunity, so candidates from our all center will apply for the opportunity. So don't feel that you will going to face a competition with your classmates only. There are huge number of participants in any of the drive, and you will going to face competition with all of them. So as Gitika ma'am told you, your communication as well as your domain knowledge should be strong. Second thing is that I'm giving you an example of Australian and New Zealand Bank. They have their versatile tests in the first round of the interview, which is completely based on the communication part, and that will be taken by the computer itself. There is no human being who will give you a chance. In case they will computer will not found you suitable, they will directly reject you. So it's very much important. You need to focus on completely on your communication as well as your domain knowledge. Communication again include verbal as well as your written part. To you, Gitika ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Rajat. I hope we are clear till now on these points. Why we are focusing, so that you won't get, you don't find any hurdle once you are coming to other pool, right? So you have sufficient time. Yes, please focus on all these things. And then yes, definitely you can crack any of the interview then after. But please, it should be I'm very much clear on this point that your domain and your communication should be very, very crisp and clear once you are going to present yourself in the interview. Okay. As I've mentioned, you are required to score minimum tier 3 in your final placement mock, right? If any candidate who falls and is secure below 50%, they won't be eligible for the placement pool until they clear their final mock with minimum tier rank T3, or you call it a grade C, or minimum 50% is required to appear for any of the opportunity, right? You're done with your level 2, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'll be giving you a superset registration link. Okay, you need to register and enroll yourself after your level 2. Once you are going into the level, you are now into level 3, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So I'll be sharing soon. Probably by Monday or Tuesday, you will get this. So you are required to register and enroll yourself on superset. Once you complete the process, you will you complete the final mock with minimum tier rank T3, you will get the opportunities directly from superset on, right? And you are required to read the job description very carefully, right? When you get any opportunity on superset, you can check there what we are asking. When we are sharing the opportunity on superset immediately going to trigger a SMS on your registered mobile number and a mail on your registered email ID that there is some opening available on superset. You need to check the superset. Sometimes the deadline, whatever we are going to provide on the job opportunity, will be it may be from 8 hours to 24 hours. So that is why whenever you see a notification, please check the superset immediately. It will hardly take 5 minutes. Read the job description carefully. Whatever mentioned is there. The eligibility will be mentioned there, that if any company is asking for a BCom graduate, if any company is asking for an MBA fresher, whatever be the details. These are just example for you. So check the eligibility criteria. Are you a fit for the same? Are you fulfilling all these requirements, what they're looking forward? We are going to share the job location, shift timings, the eligibility criteria in terms of if they are asking for a graduate or a PG or any such things. You will get all these details in the superset job description. So if you fulfill all those criteria, you can go and apply for the position. Okay. Do not apply blindly on any of the position. Why I'm saying so? Reason being, we are going to provide you initial 5 attempts, right? You can be eligible for 5 attempts initially. If you are not grabbing the opportunity in those 5 options, then superset will assume there is a default setting in superset. It will be assumed by the superset that you are required a retraining. You are still require some work, something to work upon yourself, and it will block you for some time. You need to go for a retraining, reassess yourself that where you are lacking currently, why you are not cracking the interviews. We are not demotivating you, but we are showing you the real scenario, what happens, right? So be very well prepared on this part, because initially after 5 attempts, if you are not securing any job, superset will freeze you for some time. You need to go for a retraining. You have to reappear for a remock, and then once you clear your mock again, you can get the opportunities later on via superset directly again. Yeah. So after your final mock, if any student who is secured grade 3 or tier 3, right, they do not have choice that I do not want to apply for this. If you are eligible, and then also if you are not going to apply for the position, it won't work this way. For any candidate who is falling under tier 3, they are abide to apply for the position, and they are not they can't be choosy on the companies that I do not want to apply for this or I do not want to apply for that. They are they will have to abide by the drives what are being offered to you. Yeah? But however, any student who is falling under tier 1 or tier 2 in their final placement mock, right, they have that privilege that they can apply for their dream companies only, right? If any candidate who falls as in falling under tier 3, you have an option. If you think that you didn't perform well in the final placement mock, you can ask the local governance, you can write a mail to Sakshi that you want to reappear for the mock to upgrade your tiering. But there are only limitation to 2, that only 2 times you can do this, not more than that, right? Are we clear on these points?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Still, if you have any confusion, please, you can reach out to us anytime during our office hours, and reach out to us. The communication mode should be mail only, right? We cannot answer the calls all the time. We cannot be available on WhatsApp or on Telegram. Please write a mail, either a single liner mail. If you want to ask, ma'am, I am not able to apply on this, please write a mail to me immediately, and you will get the revert from our side as soon as possible. Okay. So try communicating anything, any queries via mail only. Okay. Rajat, am I
Yes,
missing
ma'am.
on something?
No, ma'am.
Yeah. So this is all currently from the placement team. We will interact you again after your level 3 to give you more clarity on that. One more thing is there. If in case we found any opportunity before completion of your course, and we found that you there is an opportunity which is suitable to the batch, after taking a formal sign off from your trainer, if your trainer is approving or recommend any candidate that yes, this candidate is fulfilling those criteria and is eligible, in that condition we can float any 1 or 2 opportunities with you before completion of your course. But this is not a mandatory thing that you will be getting these opportunity for sure. If in case we get on a exceptional basis, after taking a confirmation and a recommendation that can we follow take the candidates now, and if your trainer finds suitable that yes, the candidate is up to the mark and he or she can be eligible for the process, we can provide the opportunity. But this is completely depending on the requirement of the company, if in case we get any such opportunity. But you will get the opportunities only after completion of your course for sure. Okay.
Ma'am, one or two more points I would like to highlight in front of the students. So first thing is related to the shift timing. Since they are aware with the IB industries that they are working with the foreign clients, so majority of the IBs are working in the rotational shifts. So if you are looking for career in the IB industry, you need to prepare your mindset accordingly that you need to work in the rotational shifts. Second
No,
thing
no,
is,
not rotational. Let me clear one thing, Rajat. Not only rotational, it could be night shift. Rotational might happen, but majority of the these IBs works for US or UK clients and majorly for US clients. So their shift would be in the night shift will be there. So be open for a relocation, be open for the shifts as well. It could be night shift, it could be day shift, but majority of the time it could be night shift only. So be open for that.
second point is the existence of the company. So majority of the IBs are either located in the western part of India or in the southern part of India. In the northern part of India, we have only few options. So those who are looking for the tier 1 investment bank like JP Morgan or Goldman Sachs, they also need to prepare their mindset accordingly that they need to relocate once the IBs start working from the offices.
Are we clear on these points?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Any queries related to the placement part?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, please.
Ma'am, is there any restriction on the number of jobs we can apply for?
As I said, initial 5 attempts will be there for you, right?
So
So
yes, ma'am.
opportunities we are going to share with you. But one more thing to add on, please do not expect that just immediate once you complete your course, immediately you will get the opportunity. Companies takes time to complete their process. Sometimes few companies takes a month time or 15 days or 20 days time. So you have to keep patience. Number 2, by the time if I'm going to open 4 or 5 opportunities with you and you find suitable, you can apply for the position for sure. But if initial in 5 attempts, if you're not going to clear the interview, Superset will automatically freeze you for some time only, not forever. For some time, you need to go for a remock and retraining. Though I understand it won't happen because initial 1-2 attempts we got to know where we are lacking and we can start working on that part.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. So if any student have this perception in their mind that we will get the job just in a week, in a month or so, please be very we should be on a practical life, and please accept this fact that whenever you will get the opportunity, companies will take time for sure. If any company is providing us any offer and they are offering something, they will definitely going to clear all their doubts. The BGC verification, that means background check, will be there. It will take time. Your document verification will be there after successful completion. If any company is going to grab you, all these process will take time. So please be patient. If by any chance, if anybody have this perception that they will get the job immediately once they complete their course, no, practically it won't be possible. So you have to keep patience. You will get the opportunities very soon. Whenever you are coming into my pool, you will start getting the opportunities. But We will going to share these opportunities as and when the companies are with us that they are having some requirement, we are going to share with you, right? Any more queries?
Ma'am, this side Akash was, ma'am.
Yes, Akash.
Ma'am, I'm working with Axis Bank, and we have to serve a notice period of 1 month. So
Okay.
suppose if a company comes and they want immediate joining, so I'm able to apply for that company or not?
So do you have, though we are going to share a tracker with all, there are, once we are going to share the opportunity with you, there are some questions you need to fulfill and fill in those details there. So we used to ask, what is your current CTC if you are working? What is your total work experience, number of years, relevant experience related to the job description, notice period also we are going to ask you, and then we are going to serve this in front of the company. Number two thing on your question, is your notice period, is it negotiable, or 30 days is it is mandatory for you to serve the notice period there?
No, ma'am, it is negotiable. I can relieve
It is
immediately if I,
negotiable.
yeah, I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
relieve
So
immediately as well. If but I have to pay the basic salary, so
I
that's why I
understand
asked.
that.
Yeah.
Though companies for working professional, for the freshers one, they ask for immediate joiners, right? But for the candidates who are working professionals, so yes, they can negotiate on their this notice period as well. They can speak to the company official, and we are going to ask this notice period as well. We do share all those details. If any student is a fresher or having some experience, we do share all these details with the company initially itself. Once you are going to apply for any position, we are going to share all these details with the company. Based on that, looking after all those criteria, they are going to revert back that these candidates are shortlisted for further process, right? So yes, if any company is asking for immediate joiner, and if you can apply, if you want to join, if you find that this company is you want to go ahead and you can negotiate on your notice period, you can apply for those position.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah. One more thing to add on, for as on the Akash point, the notice period. If any candidate is having more than 45 days of notice period to serve, please make sure, please make a note that companies do not entertain more than that. 45 days is okay for any of the company to grab you up. But if any candidate who's having 90 days notice period, if any candidate is working in some banks, retail banks have 90 days of notice period. That is why I'm making you clear here that 90 days notice period won't be accepted anywhere. Only maximum up to 45 days, it will work well. Any more queries?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else? No queries?
Ma'am, one
Yes.
more thing. Uh, if ma'am, I'm working since 3 to 4 months in an Axis Bank. So if I don't want to share the experience of Axis Bank,
Yes.
so is it possible, or I have to show that?
No, no, this is completely your call. How you are going to present yourself that during this tenure, what you have done. What is your graduation completion year?
Ma'am, 2017, I completed my graduation. After that, I done my post graduation and completed in 2019.
Okay.
And and after that, I have experience of 2 year in Indusian Bank,
Okay.
and I leave in May 2021. So
Okay.
I can easily show
Yeah, if
that
you
I am
can
yeah.
justify that thing, if you can justify that thing, yes, that's not a problem,
But ma'am,
right?
I
You
asked
can
for the
amend your resume. You can amend your resume based on that. So you should be, you are the one who need to justify that, that of what after May 2021, what are you doing since then? Why you left the job? So all these answers should be ready with you.
ma'am.
And if you want that you want to show that you are continuing your job, you have changed over after May, That will also be fine. But yes, there will be a question that why on a short notice you want to change. So all these answers should be there with you only.
Okay. Ma'am, but I asked with Anshul sir, so he said that if you don't show that experience, then you get the amount of PF on every month. So if they cross verify, then it will be difficult.
Yes, because
Is it?
as you are into the bank, that is what I'm saying. You are the one who is going to be who is going to answerable on this part. That what during this tenure, because if I talk about Axis Bank, during your background check, right?
Yes, ma'am.
They are going to ask your previous employer for sure, right?
Yes, ma'am.
For and maybe your neighbor, or as you are a banker, you are aware of this, how they are going to cross check whether the details you have furnished are correct or not. So yes, if you can justify all those things, you can mention all those in resume.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If you're not showing that you are working with Axis Bank, then on what ground you can you are going to ask for a 1 month notice period, right? These are some examples what just came in my mind, and I'm just asking you as an interviewer that if you're not working currently, you are just studying in Imarticus, then why you need a 1 month of notice period?
Ma'am, for that case, I don't have to serve a notice period of 1 month. I can relieve at an immediate basis.
So
So
yes, you
on
can,
that.
that is what, that is completely your call, right? So if any company is asking for an immediate joining, and if you want to apply for, this is completely your call. You can amend your resume as per the requirement, right?
Okay.
But yes, for sure, you can take help of your trainer. They can guide you better on this,
Okay.
right? Okay. Any more queries from anyone? No query. So by any chance, if you have some more queries related to the placement, any confusion, any queries related to the placement part, you can please reach out to us over mail. You must all must have my email ID and Rajat sir's email ID. If you do not have, we are going to share a mail very shortly, the minutes of meeting, what we have discussed currently. We will share this by evening today, and you will get our email IDs there. And you can get back to you if you have any query. Please drop a mail to us for any sort of queries related to the placement part. We are going to revert you back very shortly on that part, right? Okay. And okay, wish you all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Amit sir, over to you, please.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the time, sir.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you guys. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Rajat. Bye-bye. Okay. Okay, so I hope some of the queries are answered on placement front, right? So we can continue maybe with with we can continue with the rest of the stuff that we have got. Give me 1 second. You still able to see my screen?
Yes, sir. We can fix it.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Give me one. Okay, so we have done with Fatka, right? And I'll move on to next one now. Give me 1 second. Okay, FATF. FATF is very well, it's a very talked about regulation. You hear something or the other in news about FATF. Anyone has any idea what FATF is all about? No one? Anyone has heard this term FATF before?
Yes, sir. In
Okay.
AML KYC classes, we heard this.
Yeah, right. So yeah, you would have heard FATF, right? So FATF is one body, right? So that actually looks after the, you know, the various activities of different countries from the point of terrorism and all, right? If they are involved and found to be involved in terrorism, there could be some restrictions or imposed on them, and by way of that their rating can be downgraded, or they could be put into, you know, in the certain list, gray, black list, and all those lists which is defined by FATF. And if that is the case, then you know what will happen, those countries would not be able to avail the facility of lending from the different organizations, world organizations, like World Bank and IMF and all these international bodies who extend monetary help to various countries across the world. And if they fall in this list, there is a possibility of one, reduce liquidity, reduce lending facility from different international bodies, and there could be a possibility also wherein if they are placed in the blacklist, there would be no money would be extended to such countries who are in a blacklist of FATF body, right? So Financial Action Task Force is a full form of FATF, is an intergovernmental organization that designs, promotes policy standards to combat financial crime. So what is the objective? Objective is to combat financial crime. And the recommendation created by Financial Action Task Force target money laundering, terrorist financing, and other threats to the global financial system. So what they focus on? They focus on the money laundering aspect and terrorist financing. So these are the main focus area for this particular body. FATF was created in 1989 at the behest of G7 country, right, and is headquartered in Paris. So there are different G countries, G7, G20, and all those G are there. So G7 basically represents a group of 7 countries who are part of this G7, right? And this FATF body was created on the at the behest of G7 group. The rise of global economy and international trade has given rise to financial crimes such as money laundering. Financial Action Task Force makes recommendation for combating financial crimes, reviews member policy procedures, seeks to increase acceptance of anti-money laundering regulation across globe. Because money launderers and others alter their techniques to avoid apprehension, FATF must update its recommendation every few years. So, the idea is wherein FATF needs to be relevant, and FATF should be smart enough to uh, catch hold of elements or people who are involved into money laundering activity or terrorist financing activity. So therefore they need to continue or constantly review their process and standards, and accordingly keep changing them as per the current requirement or the current environment. So that is something which FATF has to do as per the process they have with them. And the list of recommendation to combat terrorist financing was adopted in 2001, and in the latest updates published in 2012, the recommendation was expanded to target few new threats, including the financing spread of weapons of mass destruction. Recommendation was also added to be clear on transparency and corruption. As of 2018, there were 37 members of Financial Action Task Force, including the European Commission and Cooperation Council. To become a member, a country must be considered strategically important, large population, large GDP, developed banking and insurance sector, etc. Must adhere to globally accepted financial standards and be a participant in other important international organizations. Once a member, a country or an organization must endorse, support the most recent FATF recommendation, commit to being evaluated by the other members, and work with FATF in the development of future recommendation. Large number of international organizations participate in FATF as observers, each of which has some involvement in anti-money laundering activities. These organizations include Interpol, International Monetary Fund, Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development, and World Bank. Right. So as I said, so this FATF as a body needs to uh, needs to look after the interest of the global community, and therefore their larger interest is to ensure there is no money laundering happening, there is no terrorist financing happening, and also the spread of weapon, especially the weapon of mass destruction and all, should stop. And so they devise their policies, they devise um, their entire narrative on these lines only, so that these menace or these the wrong practices, or uh, as in the activities which can cause greater harm to humanity, which can be money laundering, which can be this mass destruction or weapons of mass destruction, or for that matter uh, for the matter terrorist financing, right? So all these activities are a threat to the human at large, and the idea is to stop this activity, and this is promoted by this body, and they cater to the interest of the global community, and in the large countries who have a presence of strong financial system, banks, insurance companies, and all, they are largely part of FATF, and they supposedly accept the guidelines and supposedly follow what FATF puts before them, right? And they need to be ready for the internal scrutiny. They should be ready for internal discussion, internal talks on all those matter concerning to the theme of the FATF. A theme which we discuss is about uh, combating terrorist financing, or money laundering, or the spread of weapons of mass destruction. So these are the themes under FATF work. So all these things are discussed in the wider group, and the countries part of FATF has to follow or adhere to the regulations set forth under FATF, and those who are not adhering to that, they should be ready. Like, if you maybe you remember, anyone of you remember, Pakistan is in FATF's gray list. Anyone aware about it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
and this was to be reviewed again. I'm not sure when is the next review. So in the first review, they failed to fulfill the listed requirement of FATF as a body. So they give certain, the certain the certain certain items on which a country has to work to be clear of that particular the list, particular uh, uh, grading, or the gray list, you can say the gray list. As of now, Pakistan is into gray list, right? So it can go into blacklist also. If it is into blacklist, as I said, there would be no kind of financial help would be extended to Pakistan by any of these international bodies listed out here, like IMF, OECD, and World Bank. All these financial bodies are part of FATF as observers, and they see how the various countries are strengthening the cause of FATF theme, that is combating terrorist financing and all those things that we just discussed. So this is the wider agenda of FATF, which is floated, which is discussed with various countries who are part of FATF. And if some country is not cooperating, is not supporting the idea of FATF, then they can be put into grey list or blacklist. And if they are into the blacklist, they would be accordingly banned with any of the financial help extended by these international bodies, and they will have, all those countries have to depend on their own. So that's FATF's information. Now coming to the next one, probably these are the uh, OFS, and we'll do two more, one FinCEN, and maybe OFS also will do, and then we'll stop here. Rest of the items are simple one, 2 3 slides are left there only, then that I will leave it to you, and maybe tomorrow we can take them up. Okay, so let me quickly what's the time right now? 12. Okay, we have got 10 minutes, right?
12:41.
So yeah, so let me just do these two slides, and then probably the rest of the items we can take up tomorrow. Okay, what is FinCEN? FinCEN receives duties. One second. Okay, FinCEN Financial Crimes Enforcement Network is the full form. Is a government bureau that maintains a network whose goal is to prevent and punish criminals and criminal networks that participate in money laundering and other financial crimes. FinCEN, administered by United States Department of Treasury, operates domestically and internationally, and it consists of three major players: law enforcement agencies, regulatory community, and financial service community. Right. So this is the network of FinCEN. Right. FinCEN as a name stands for Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, and they have three major players under it, which is one is your enforcement agencies, law enforcement agencies, regulatory community, regulators are there, and then the financial service community, as in the banks and all, also part of the FinCEN. By researching mandatory disclosure imposed on the financial institution, a FinCEN tracks suspicious persons, their assets, and their activities to make sure that money laundering is not occurring. FinCEN tracks everything from very complicated electronically based transaction to simple smuggling operation that involve cash. And money laundering in such a complicated crime, FinCEN seeks to fight it by bringing different parties together. Director of FinCEN is appointed by the Secretary of Treasury and reports to the Treasury under Secretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. FinCEN is authorized to exercise regulatory duties for per currency and Financial Transaction Reporting Act of 1970 as amended by Title 3 of the US Patriot Act of 2001. Okay, so what is the essence of this particular slide? The essence is one, the FinCEN again works on the similar lines, wherein the idea or the agenda, larger agenda, is to stop the money laundering practices, to stop the financial crime. So that is the wider idea for FinCEN also. And what all bodies FinCEN has? FinCEN has law enforcement, FinCEN has regulatory community, FinCEN also has a financial service community. So financial institution need to make a proper disclosure to make the agenda, or to make the make the FinCEN's agenda effective. So FinCEN's agenda can be effective when they have a strong strong disclosure mechanism imposed on the financial institution. And in these similar lines, we have this report that is called Currency and Financial Transaction Reporting. So that is also the FinCEN has access to, and with that they can have a view about all the electronic transactions and also the various cash transactions happening through bank. They can make out where they need to put more emphasis on, where they need to keep their eyes on, and accordingly they reach out to the various parties involved into those transactions and interrogate those suspicious transactions, interrogate those parties involved in those financial transactions. So that is how the role of the FinCEN is there. FinCEN received duties and responsibility from Congress to serve a central coalition hub, provide analysis, disseminate data to support the financial industry, as well as government partners at local through international levels. In order to fulfill its duties to detect, deter financial crime, FinCEN can issue and interpret relevant regulation that have been authorized by statute enforced statuted enforce compliance with said regulation and coordinate and analyze data related to compliance examination functions that were delegated to other regulators. FinCEN also manages the collection, processing, dissemination, and protection of data required to be reported. Access to FinCEN's data is maintained for government use. The information and services of FinCEN are used to support law enforcement investigation into and prosecution of financial crimes. The data gathered by FinCEN is processed to make recommendation on allocation of resources where there is a greater risk of financial crime. The Bureau shares its information in collaboration collaboration with foreign financial intelligence counterpart for anti-money laundering, combating financing of terrorism effort. Bureau also provides analysis for the benefit of policymakers, law enforcement, regulatory, and intelligence. FinCEN represents the United States as one of the more than 100 financial intelligence units that comprise the Eggman Group, which is an international organization whose mission is to what is that? One second. United States more than 100 financial intelligence unit that comprise the Eggman Group, which is an international organization whose mission is to share information and cooperate among its members, right? So this is the larger theme of the FinCEN is to combat uh, the financial uh, crimes only, right? And it is drawing its power from the treasury. The treasury is the, as an it's a constitutional body there in US, and Congress is the is in the is assigning the responsibility. So it is mainly, if you look at the FinCEN as a player or as a institution, it's main there for the government only. So the government has got a responsibility to have a strong law and order in the countries, especially pertaining to the financial matters. So they take FinCEN as a strong institution which supports the government's this government's vision of managing, or managing, or you can say or managing, or in a sense you can say it is to remove the financial crimes from the from the country. So that is the agenda supported by FinCEN for government, you can say, because it is a law. This FinCEN has got three agencies under it. One is the law agency is under it. Then it has got the regulatory agency, which is working in hand with FinCEN. Then it is also having the financial framework is also under the FinCEN. So the idea is to eradicate the money laundering practices, or eradicate the financing of terrorism, right? So all these the menace which are there in the country, so that those should be removed, and this is what the FinCEN is strengthening. This effort is being strengthened by FinCEN, right? So that's FinCEN. Then talking about OFEC, and probably after the OFEC we can close today. There are only two slides. Any question as of now on these two things?
No, sir.
Okay, so I'll complete with OFEC, and the remaining item we can take up tomorrow. Office of Foreign Asset Control is a department of US Treasury that enforces economic and trade sanction against countries and groups of individuals. Anyone has any idea about OFEC? Because OFEC is something that we also did in money
KYC.
laundering, KYC
Yes,
money
sir.
laundering. Yeah.
Yes,
Anyone
sir.
knows about OFEC?
Sir, it contains the list of persons who having some default with other bank.
Mhm.
So if they have, if the person is in that list, then we don't deal with that person because
Yeah.
he is the one who already default with some other party.
Right, right. So yeah, right. So this is one body which actually takes care of the economic matters of various countries. So that is the name. If you look at the Foreign Office of Foreign Asset Control, is a department of US Treasury. Again, most of the regulation that we have here in this PPT are from the from the US point of view, and some are from the European point of view also, right? So this is again one from the US point of view, is a department of the US Treasury that enforces economic trade sanctions against countries and groups of individuals involved into terrorism, narcotics, and other disputable activities. Right? OFEC was officially created in 1950 when China entered the Korean War. President Truman declared the event a national emergency and froze all Chinese Korean assets subject to US jurisdiction. OFEC predecessor was the Office of Foreign Fund Control, which was established in response to the Nazi invasion of Norway in 1940. So before OFEC, there was another body that was Office of Foreign Funds Control, which was established in 1940. But after, with coming of OFEC, this is defunct. This is no more active. So now the main body is OFEC body. So this body looks into terrorism, narcotics, and all any disputable activities which can harm the economic interest of economic interest, or you can say the financial interest of the countries. And as we know, the if financial interests are harmed, then there could be a financial crisis, and financial crisis can lead into human crisis of other natures also. So the idea is to have a proper full view about all these activities, terrorism, narcotics, on any other activity which can be which can again lead to a disaster for human. So that is what is looked after or looked by OFAC. Okay, office enforces sanctions based on US foreign policy and national security object. According to this federal agency, those policies are aimed at foreign nations, terrorists, traffickers of narcotics who pose a threat to national security of nation's economy. This include entities who proliferate weapons of mass destruction. Agencies' actions are authorized by legislation. OFAC can also take action under national emergency power granted to President of United States to perform such deeds as freezing assets. So freezing asset mean assets which are under the control of the US, or wherever the US as a body has its reach, those assets can be frozen by OFAC. If a country is not mending its way, and if the some advisory or some suggestion has been given to the country, and still the country is not mending its way, they still continue continuing with these mentioned disputable activities, then there could be some restrictions even of this nature, where the assets can be frozen, right? OFAC runs many of its sanctions based on the mandates by the United Nations. These mandates are often performed in cooperation with allied nations. The use of sanctions and trade policy is a way for the international community to pursue the sanctioned nation or group to change some behavior. The policies make it more challenging for the sanctioned entity to continue their regulation, their current activity by disrupting the economic lives. This is done as a way to pressure a country to conform to certain laws or regulation, or to discontinue the disreputable activity. For example, if a terrorist group is known to fund their activities through a commodity sold on an international market, sanction might be introduced to cut off this revenue source. OFAC's effort on this front could reduce the group's ability to support the training of new recruits and acquisition of weapons. If a belligerent country were to invade or support a violent rebellion in neighboring country, trade and other assets could be frozen. OFAC could take charge of enforcing these sanctions, which might compel the belligerent country to halt its action, or at least agree to talks to possibly end the conflict. Program administered by OPEC have included sanctions on Iran, North Korea, Cuba, Syria, Ukraine, Russia related sanctions. The agency has taken action against individuals such as drug traffickers by blocking all property owned by such criminals. So what here we talking? Here talking the one, the OPEC can take action on the individuals, it can take action on the group, it can take action on the country, right? On this manner, the action can be taken by OFAC. And if OFAC found there is a particular group who is able to, because what OFAC is doing, OFAC is actually trying to curve the financial source of a group. And if the financial source of that given group is stopped or that is curved, there is a possibility that particular group or the country may fall in line to follow the norms, or the basic, they will demand their activities, they will demand their way of doing business. uh, the example which is quoted here is like there is a terrorist group which is able to function its terrorist activities, right? Or which is able to do all those terrorist activity with the help of selling some commodity on a particular market. So what a OFAC would do, OFAC would try to cut that revenue source, or they would allow not they are not able to sell that commodity on that given market, international market, and they have by way of that, their source of revenue would be stopped. And when the source of revenue stopped, they would slowly and gradually come to the table to talk about if they can stop it. And if they stop that thing, those sanctions can be dropped over the time. Sanction can be lifted, sanction can be put for long time, can be with a certain time. You remember there was sanction put on India also when India did the nuclear test. You remember that? Anyone? India also did a this nuclear test back in 1996, and that is when there was a sanction put on India. But given, because proliferation of a weapon of this nature, which are mass destruction, can, this is also this is an activity which is which can create a lot of problem, right, for the economy, for a community, for a country, and for other countries for that matter also. And therefore there was some sanctions were put on India also, and those sanctions are largely for trade and economic sanctions only. And that how those sanctions are put by talking to the other countries, so that those other countries may stop doing trade and all those things with the given country. But the sanctions are generally such sanctions are lifted also if the country is not doing any harm with those things, as with the proliferation of that weapon. If there is no harm done for the others, then that sanction can also be lifted, because at the end of the day, the larger interests are served, and the larger interests are keep the economies running. That is possible when the countries are allowed to do the trades and all, right? So that is how the OPEC as a body is functioning there, and doing all these steps, taking all these steps to stop these activities that jumped in the beginning. Okay, with that I stopped here. Any questions before we close for today?
No, sir, but could you please share this PPT with us
Yeah,
today
give me a
only?
second. Give me a second. I'll share it right away. Give me 1 second before I take your attendance. I'll share it. Give me a second. Akash, I'm sharing it with you.
Okay, sir.
Also, sir, I want to ask about the LMS midterm exam, which is going to happen today.
Okay.
So, usme, I just want to ask about the questions. Are there like going to be MCQs
Yeah.
or like मतलब पूरा लिखना पड़ेगा?
No, it would be your MCQs only. There would be 100
And
questions. Yeah. So it will have
130 minutes?
100
Like
in 1 hour, I
50
guess.
minutes? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it is 1 hour and or maybe 1.5 hours. I'm not sure. But
Okay, sir.
but
Okay.
it will have close to 100, maybe not 190 questions. Something would be there. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
sir.
yeah, 90
Okay,
questions
and
would be there.
what about the numericals? Numericals भी होंगे उसमें और मतलब
No,
होंगे या नहीं होंगे?
न्यूमेरिकल बहुत ही स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड होंगे, ऐसा नहीं होगा आपको बहुत ज्यादा कुछ करना पड़ेगा, फॉर्मूला बेस्ड हो सकता है अगर हुआ भी तो, otherwise it is more on concept based. It will be
Okay, sir.
more concept based. Numerical maybe I guess 1 or 2 numericals will be there hardly.
And as that is like midterm exam, so उसमें कोई ऐसे topics हैं जो नहीं होंगे? Like final में तो सारे ही होंगे.
फाइनल में सारा
As
होगा, सारा कुछ.
तो कल तो mid वाला है, so उसमें कौन से topics नहीं होंगे? So that we can
अच्छा,
focus on
mid
जो
में I guess your
है.
level mid I guess will have your level 1 and level 2,
अच्छा.
and
Okay,
level
sir.
3 this thing will not be, regulation, risk and everything would not be there.
Okay.
Yeah, that is how your mid would be the covering.
Okay. And one more question related to the topic, and I just want to talk about the fixed income वो जो bonds होते हैं. So उसमें जो वो होते हैं returns होते हैं, are they on simple interest or the compound?
No, so that interest is basis the day count convention, formula is there. So it is a compound interest only, because when you see the interest is accrued.
Yes.
So
And
interest is
even if
accrued.
whenever we calculate yield to maturity, we tend to assume that we are reinvesting our coupon.
Reinvesting. So that way you
Yes.
can say it is compounded only. But how that
But
would be calculated? It would be calculated based on the day count convention method formula that we have for. There are 4 convention,
yes,
calculators.
actual upon actual and actual upon 360, 350,
Right.
365. Okay.
Yeah.
But there is an example in our book, in our notes, which says that simple interest is also there and compound interest is also there. So
Yeah.
that is why I was little bit confused कि वो simple पे होता है फिर compound पे ही होता है.
नहीं, आपका होता कंपाउंड पे, वो सिंपल तो एज एग्जांपल दिया हुआ है कि सिंपल इंटरेस्ट इज कैलकुलेटेड दिस वे, बट योर you know the this which bond interest is a compound interest, provided you are taking this thing into consideration. It is accrued. If it is accrued, that means it is being included with your principal amount and then it is being calculated over the years, so that way it is compound only.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Let me quickly take your attendance. Just give me 1 second. I'm just we are already overrunning, but we'll just try to wrap it up soon. Your previous attendance, I can see 14th August is last. Did you not have any class after 14th August? Let me just share this my screen with you. I don't know, maybe you can check. This is your batch, right? So I can see 14th August is the last mark there. Maybe Anshul sir was taking, right? So you can just check with them. Okay, Amit was there, but he could not join due to the connectivity issue. Akash is there, Shivani is there, Paras is there, Joshina is there, Manish is there, Shivam is there, Nishant is not there, right? Sana is not there. Rahul is there, Ajay is there, Shreya is there, and Chunky is there. Rashi is not there. Deepak is not there, right? Vashwat is there. Deepak is there, right? Okay, sorry. Okay, Deepak is there. Vashwat is there. Vashwat is not there. And Siddharth. Siddharth is not there. Okay, so let me just again call out your names. You just check, cross check. So Amit is there. I have marked him present because he was there, but due to some internet issue in Karnal, he's not able to join back. That's fine. Akash is there. Shivani is there. Paris is there. Jyotsina is there. Manish is there. Shivam is there. Nishant is not there. Sana is not there. Rahul is there. Ajay is there. Shreya is there. Chunky is there. Right. Rashi is not there. Deepak is there. Vashwat is not there. And then Siddharth is not there. So, right. Anyone's name I didn't call out who is there on the as in on this invite. Okay, fine. So we are done. So rest of the items will cover tomorrow, and also the risk management will do tomorrow only. Okay, guys. So till then, take care, and we'll meet tomorrow at 9. Bye bye.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir.